Good day everybody, welcome to Kampala Road in Uganda, and today is about swapping out the motor on this loco and putting a new one in. This is the TTS Gadwall A4, which was a bargain when I got it back in the day, about 18 months ago, 60 quid I think. But just recently she's been playing up a bit. Never the smoothest of locos, but now she is really playing up, stuttering at slow speed. So I'm going to see if I can get her to appear to run jerky. I can hear it. And here it's running jerky, even though the camera seems to smooth it out. It is a bit dark for filming in here, but this is the new motor, I hope. X4026, a fairly common motor type in a lot of locos back in the early 2000s. So I'm going to change it over. Now I did originally believe it may have been the TTS decoder playing up. I changed the decoder for a normal one and she was still stuttering and not doing the right thing. I took the body off to see whether the linkages were catching on the valances. That's not the case, so the next option is I'm going to change the motor out. At the worst it'll be the same and I'll just have a spare motor, but I'm going to demonstrate today and we'll give it a try. Alright, once again, Paxo is pretty vocal this morning, so please forgive him. I'm going to try, without taking the tender body off, sort this out, being a bit lazy. But I don't want to damage it, so I will take the tender off if necessary. Okay, as with a lot of the railroad models, that's fairly easy. There's one screw, comes up through here, holds the body on, the clip on the back. There's the maybe offending motor. There is the replacement. Better not get them muddled up. Have to undo this, the worm drive cover, whichever one you want to call it. Then hopefully the motor will just lift out, unsolder two wires, solder it back onto that, put it back in, Bob's your uncle. What could possibly go wrong? Okay, let's just try and do this one-handed so I don't block the camera. Undo the worm cover drive. There it is. It's nicely greased, so grease is not the problem I've been having. I tend to keep this tape. I'm quite proficient at changing motors now. So the negative is wide in here, positive down here. I have to lift this motor off. It's got some heat shrink on, unsolder. I hope it's soldered up. Knowing Hornby, there's the minimal amount of solder on there, and then swap the motors over. Best way to take the motor out is to undo this bracket on the back here. That is undone by, there's a Phillips screw under here coming through at this point. I don't know if you can see that. Let me try and show you. So here there is a screw coming up, holds the bracket, which holds the motor. Don't try and force this bracket off, just undo that screw from underneath, dead easy. I'm going to just try and zoom in on that connection there, the motor connection. Have I gone in too far? Okay, as expected, this is the soldering joint and there is minimalist solder there. Hornby may have lost their way on making quality product, but their cost control in the Chinese factory on usage of solder is phenomenal. Brilliant stuff. Given my soldering skills and prowess are not worthy of a video, I'm going to now unsolder this motor here and here, put the new motor in and rejoin the video at that stage after a lot of blasphemy and swearing. Okay, so this is the old motor, and just fiddling with it, it does appear very, very smooth. I can't feel the usual sort of friction or roughness. I'm going to put the new one in now and hope for the best that this hasn't been a waste of time. Okay, new motor is in, or soldered on. Only swore once and didn't burn myself, so that could be considered a good start to 2019. Now to put her back in the cradle with the bracket. I will come back when I've done that. Hopefully you can see that. Using this Hornby school of minimalist soldering, I've managed to repeat it there and under there at the bottom of the motor for the live. When you put the soldering, or when you're soldering the motor back on, don't forget to put the bracket on first, which I did, and then had to unsolder, put the bracket on, solder again. Fortunately, take a deep breath as I did, take your time, don't get upset with Hornby. Anyway, she's ready now to go back into the area where she sits, bolt the cradle back on from underneath, put the worm drive cover on, and a test drive. Now the motor's in, worm drive cover on, put a dab of oil on the worm drive, that Pico Super Lube, but it was very greasy anyway in there. The original tape didn't work, so I'm going to put her on the track now and hopefully she will perform better than this one. So let's give it a go. So far it's taken me 20 minutes, and that's with unsoldering that twice because I forgot to put the bracket on. So it's a very easy job. Let's give it a go on the track. Okay, so she's on the track and going to give her a go, see what happens with normal CVs on the TTS. So this is live, I haven't tested it, I'm not predetermining what's going to happen here. She does have TTS sound, as you can hear. I'll turn it off just for the trial. The Paxo in the background is fine, so it all bodes well. Let's give her a go. And she's about as jerky as the old motor. Oops. Okay, let's give it a go again. Slow it down a bit. A little bit jerky, maybe needs running in. I wouldn't say it's any better than the old motor at the moment, but the old motor had about 30 hours on it. I am one of those people that does record how many hours each loco does. Bit of an anorak on that one. So I think the next thing is to run her in and see what happens. Right, so I've run her for about 20 minutes, being impatient. And I think hand on heart, going the wrong way of course for the camera, hand on heart, there is no real improvement on the old motor. She's still a little bit jerky at slow speed. Anything from medium to fast she's fine, and very slow she's fine. But let me try and demonstrate again. I'll just bring her to a halt the other way. She is a bit jerky just after takeoff speed. Now the CVs on this I have adjusted. She's okay there. Yeah, it's just a bit jerky now. The CVs I've adjusted to the usual 150 to 154, and there's no change. So, a little bit disappointing. I have a spare motor. There's obviously something else not quite right, which I've got to find, or if anybody could give me some suggestions, they'll be gratefully received. It's okay there, very slow speech is fine. Yeah, maybe a little bit better, but still not perfect. Not like the Merchant Navy, which is there, which has exactly the same motor in, and is very smooth. And the Duchess of Buccleuch, same motor, same mechanism really, very smooth. Anyway, I trust this has helped you if you want to change a motor and you never really felt you wanted to do it. I've demonstrated it's easy to do. But in the meantime, I will give her a run with the body on and some Reka coaches and see how she goes. But thank you very much for watching. Have a great new year. Thank you to all my subscribers. And the next video will probably be something around about the Z21 or 3 Class 47s with the same livery. For now, take care and cheers from Kampala.